Good morning everyone. Welcome to Daily Current Affairs Analysis of Shankar IAS Academy. Today we are going to discuss the current affairs of 28th of September 2025. So before going into the topic, I am very much happy to announce that we are starting a weekend batch for pre-storming, and it is for all the branches and it starts on 16th of October 2025. So get ready for UPSC Prelims with one of the most trusted test series. And do not forget to subscribe, comment if you have any doubts, and please do like this video, share it to your friends. So what are the topics we are going to discuss today? The first would be PM-KISAN Samman Nidhi. So there are certain places which are flood affected are about to receive PM-KISAN Samman Nidhi. And next topic is very important and interesting, which is desert soilification, which is nothing but the reversal of desertification. Next is about Commission for Air Quality Management and Stubble Burning in Punjab and Haryana. Then we will be discussing about India and European Union's strategic agenda. And finally, we will be discussing the topics which focus specifically on preliminary examination. The first topic we are going to discuss today is PM-KISAN Samman Nidhi Yojana, and the states which are affected by flood are about to receive their installment on this. So what is this PM-KISAN Samman Nidhi Yojana, and what are all the states that are going to receive it? We will discuss it now. So recently there has been floods and landslides in the states of Punjab, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. So for this relief purpose, the union government is releasing the 21st installment of PM-KISAN Samman Nidhi Yojana, which is called as PM-KISAN in short. So what is this PM-KISAN Samman Nidhi Yojana? So it is launched on February 2019 by the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Ministry is very important. So it's a central sector scheme. So it is central sector means 100% funding is by the union government and not the state governments. So 100% funding is from the union government, and this will provide income support to all eligible landholding farmers to supplement their needs for procuring input for the farming and household requirements also. So what kind of preliminary question comes from this particular topic? It's a very important topic. They will ask you the ministry, they will ask you this, I mentioned eligible, they will ask you what are the eligibilities, whether it's a central sector scheme or a centrally sponsored scheme would be a question. And they will also ask that whether this PM-KISAN Samman Nidhi can be used for household requirement. Since it's an agricultural scheme, we might believe no, it cannot be used. It can be used for the household requirement of a farmer also. So what is this about? It works basis of direct benefit transfer, 6,000 per year to each eligible farmer family, and it is paid in 3 equal installments, that is 2,000 every 4 months. It is transferred directly into farmers' bank accounts, that is the direct benefit transfer. And who are eligible? Very important. All landholding farmer families, husband, wife and minor children with cultivable land in their names. So they come under this eligible criteria. So but there are exclusion: institutional landholders, families serving or retired government employees, or professionals like doctors, engineers, lawyers, chartered accountants and taxpayers. They don't come under this eligibility criteria, they are excluded even though they have cultivable land on their name. And scale, it covers 11 crore farmers across India and one of the largest DBT schemes globally. So this is one of the most important point. This PM-KISAN Samman Nidhi is one of the largest direct benefit transfer schemes globally, not just in our country. Next is the importance about it is it provides an assured minimum income support to small and marginal farmers. So it reduces the dependency on informal credit, because informal credit is a major issue for farmers which will make them fall into debt trap, leading to losing of their lands to money lenders. But this scheme is giving them a minimum support and the dependency on informal credit is reducing. And it also helps farmers meet consumption and input needs, seeds, fertilizers, etc. And it supports rural economy through timely cash infusion. So now you see there is a flood and they are releasing the installment, and this is going to help them in a larger scale. So now we will discuss a prelims question based on this. Consider the following statement regarding PM-KISAN Samman scheme. So this is a very important prelims topic. Please keep this in mind. So first option is it is a central sector scheme fully funded by the Government of India. Under the scheme, eligible farmers receive 2000 per year in 3 equal installments directly into their bank. Yes, direct benefit transfer, 2000 rupees every 4 months we saw, so 6000 in total. So the scheme is implemented by the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, that is also right. So all the 3 statements are right in this question and option D is the right answer. So very important prelims topic it is. The topic we are going to discuss now is desert soilification. So what is this concept of soilification? So first we should know what is a desert in general. So desert has certain criteria. So first criteria would be the precipitation levels are very low. So this is one of the major criteria. And second criteria would be that the soil in the desert is barren, because the major reason it is barren is that the soil loses its water holding capacity. So that is what makes the area desert. So when we call desertification, again desertification is nothing but the land degradation. The soil loses its water holding capacity. So what happens is it becomes barren, so agriculture or any other plantation cannot be done there. That is what we should understand about deserts. So there are 2 types of deserts, hot deserts and cold desert, that we will discuss in some other concept. So new farming technology holds potential to stop desertification. So what has happened here is that they are using bioformulation to make the soil hold water, and we will see how. So the researchers at the Central University of Rajasthan have developed this concept called as desert soilification technology. And what do? Is they use indigenous bioformulation to counter this desertification process. So desertification means it's nothing but a land degradation in arid, semi-arid and dry humid areas. So place where the precipitation is very low, resulting, and this is because of various factors like it can be due to climate change, sometimes human activities also, like intense cultivation leading to loss of soil fertility. So this also can be a reason. So what are the causes? Is that first and foremost thing is deforestation and destruction of vegetation cover. So deforestation would lead to soil erosion, and soil erosion would lead to desertification. So next is overgrazing of livestock. Again overgrazing also will lead to soil erosion and destruction of the nutrients in the soil. So unsustainable farming practices, intensive irrigation, usage of excess fertilizers, sometimes pesticides, this will also lead to making the soil barren in nature. And excessive groundwater extraction also will lead to desertification. And climate change, another major issue where erratic rainfall. So you don't have a proper rainfall such that the water holds the nutrients, droughts and rising temperature. So all these things will lead to desertification. So what are the consequences of desertification? First is loss of fertile soil and decline in agricultural productivity. So first and foremost thing is when fertile soil is lost and agricultural productivity is lost, it creates food insecurity. So it's a major issue with respect to desertification. So next is that expansion of deserts. So this process of desertification doesn't stop in a place, it starts expanding. So it just moves on to the next part of the land also. So new areas will become desert, leading to increased area of deserts. And food insecurity and forced migration will be a major concept, and biodiversity loss. So what will happen? Generally we will have a desert and there would be a grassland which is an ecotone, and then we will be having a forest. So now this desert, when it starts expanding through desertification, the grassland also will start becoming desert. So what happens? The grassland ecosystem will be in question, it will perish eventually. So here the biodiversity loss takes place, leading to loss of edge species. So that is a major issue with respect to this concept. Next is what is desert soilification. Now we are going to fight. We understood what is desertification, which means the soil loses the water holding capacity. So what is desert soilification? Now we are going to trying to reverse this process where we are trying to make the soil hold water. How? We are going to do something called as bioformulation. So what is bioformulation is that we are going to mix certain polymers. So it's a biotechnological method to turn desert sand into soil like material that can support crops. So this is what we call it as bioformulation. We are adding something which is a polymer, and these polymers are organic compounds and they can actually bind water. They act like sponges. So what happens, they act like sponges and they hold water. So when they are holding the water, the soil also will be bound to each other, making the plant sustain in that particular soil. So it is designed to improve the fertility, water retention and microbial activity in the otherwise barren desert land. If not added, if these polymers are not added, the land would be barren. But since this bioformulation has taken place, the land is now becoming fertile, it can hold water and also microbial action can take place, leading to nitrogen fixation and other processes. So bioformulation is applied either before or during sowing process. Sowing is like adding the seeds to the soil. So water retention, this polymers in the bioformulation act like sponges, as I told you. So you could have seen this in terms of this bouquet making. So inside the bouquet they will keep a green color sponge which holds water. So what happens because of this, that particular flower stays fresh for a long time. Similar way, this polymer also acts like sponges and it holds water for a long periods. So this reduces the number of irrigation cycles. So what happened, it becomes sustainable because water is not needed again and again. So now what happens, the water holding increases, the amount of water used for this irrigation purpose will reduce, making this particular agricultural method sustainable. So cross linking of sand particles which are normally loose, here what happens, are infertile because they can't hold water. And what happens, now they are glued together and they become soil like structure. So you see sand is very loose, like you can just hold it in the hand and it falls easily, but soil is not like that, and specifically the soil contains water, it becomes firm, they stick to each other. So that when achieved will lead to the root holding the soil even more better manner. So this prevents water from draining too quickly and creates stable bed for the roots. So this also will lead to beneficial microbial activities in the soil, and these microbes improve the nutrient cycling and help plant resist any environmental stress. So drought, heat, all these will be managed by this microbial activity. So because of this improved water and soil condition, even wheat, bajra, gorgum and chickpea can be grown successfully in these areas, because chickpea and all is leguminous. So growing chickpea will actually increase the soil fertility. So this is one of the important concept. So in cycles we can go sowing wheat. So that is the advantage of this. So soil fertility will lead to food security. That linkage you can understand from this. So what they did is they did an experiment in Banseli village. So Banseli village is in Ajmer district of Rajasthan. So they started on November 2024 and the crop was harvested in April 2025. So they grew 13 kg of wheat, so local variety 4079 on 1000 square meter of desert land, and successfully they have harvested it. So they used a special biosolution which is for use for desert soilification technology, and the sand acted like soil. So the wheat needed only 3 rounds of watering, but in general the wheat will need 5 to 6 rounds of watering, but because of this addition it needed only 3 rounds of watering. See, if there is any question compared to wheat and rice, which is more water intense, rice is more water intense. That is why here they are cultivating wheat. So it gave a good harvest, 26 kg of wheat per 100 square meter, almost double the usual yield. Obviously water usage is less and productivity, so harvest is higher, which means definitely it is water efficient. So you have to use these kind of keywords when you write. You should not write it uses less water. You should write it is water efficient. The water usage is input is lesser, harvest is higher. So what happens? Water efficiency increases. Kind of answers will give you more marks in mains. So we'll just discuss a prelims question based on this topic. With reference to desertification, consider the following statements. So they're asking correct. So what is the correct answer they're asking? It occurs only in arid and hyper-arid regions of the world. Unsustainable irrigation practices can accelerate desertifications through soil salination. India has committed to achieve land degradation neutrality by 2030. So this is the question. So what is the answer is 2 and 3 only is the right answer, because this is right. Unsustainable irrigation practices. When we are over irrigating and we are using more fertilizers, so it will lead to soil salination. And India is committed to achieve land degradation neutrality by 2030. That is also right. But here it is not necessarily only in the arid and hyper-arid area. Sometimes it's in semi-humid area also. So dry humid areas also. So in that case, this statement is not correct. It can happen anywhere. So answer is 2 and 3 only is the right answer for this question. So the topic we are going to discuss now is CAQM and stubble burning. So it is from PIB. And recently the Commission for Air Quality Management in National Capital Region has conducted a review meeting with state governments of Punjab and Haryana. So when it comes to state governments of Punjab and Haryana National Capital Region, immediately the word that has to come to your mind is the stubble burning. So here they are preparing for the stubble burning incidents during this harvest season of 2025. So they are saying that they have arranged flying squads to in these two states to monitor progress at the field level in the hotspot district where the stubble burning is maximum. There they are trying to deploy flying squads. So we will see what is this respect to the stubble burning. So meetings held on 25th and 26th September of 2025 with Punjab and Haryana officials, and they are reviewing the preparedness for the paddy harvesting season of 2025. And it is in line with CAQM directions 90, 91 and 92. So zero stubble burning reiterated as non-negotiable, which means zero stubble burning is mandatory. You cannot burn stubble and you cannot give any reason. That is what is the meaning of non-negotiable. So what are the action points of Punjab? So they are trying to fill the gaps in terms of crop residue management, machinery, supply and utilization. So there is this inter-district level Baler movement strategy, and they are strengthening this Pareli protection force. This is nothing but an evening patrolling program. So they are also addressing the pest affected areas and waterlogged area where they can prevent the stubble burning. And also they are seeking an alternate for the stubble burning where they are trying to use this biomass in thermal power plants. They are targeting at least 5% of usage of these stubbles in terms of power plants. So basically what is a stubble? So stubble is nothing but once the harvest is done, so we take the grains away, the remaining plant residue is what we call it as stubble. So that is used for various purpose, but in many cases they are burnt. So after the harvest is done, so that what happens, they will once it is burnt, so the ashes are ploughed through the soil and then the next cycle of sowing starts. But what is the issue with respect to this is that this stubble burning will cause air pollution. So we will discuss what is that in the upcoming concepts. So they are reviewing and filling the gaps in this terms of crop residue management machinery, and they are proposing additional supplies. So they are strengthening district level supply chains, and also vigilance by Pareli protection force are the major points. So they are also trying to store this straw bales so that they can prevent fire, and also insurance for farmers are offered for this. And they are also, the farmers who are resorting to burning, even apart from all these measurements to be taken, and if farmers are not following the rules and they are going for burning, they will be not given any incentives, and also they will be charged with certain penalties. So this is like a negative reinforcement so that the farmers will stay away from burning their stubbles. So what is this complaints of direction 91 is that ban on open burning of biomass in urban area is a major rule. That is this direction 91, open burning of biomass should not take place. And why is this open burning of biomass will take place? One of the major reason is this the fine particles that might start floating in the air, particulate matter. What I mean is, so Commission for Air Quality Management, so about this we should know, it is established under CAQM in NCR and Adjoining Areas Act 2021. So the jurisdiction is National Capital Region, that is the jurisdiction. Delhi, Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh and adjoining areas also come under the jurisdiction. So you should know that there are certain powers that national this Commission for Air Quality Management holds. We will see what is that. So coordinate, what is the function is, it coordinates the action for air pollution abatement, issues binding directions to states. See this term binding. If this is issuing any directions, it is binding and the states have to follow. It is not discretional, it is binding. And monitoring enforcement of crop residue management, industrial emissions and waste burning. So what are the powers? It can even override Central Pollution Control Board, State Pollution Control Board in the National Capital Region, very important. So when it comes to National Capital Region, if there is any question, can Commission for Air Quality Management override CPCB? Yes, it can override. It also can issue direction which is enforceable under the Environmental Protection Act of 1986. So when we talk about Punjab, Haryana, you have it here, and what happens here is you have Delhi here. So these two areas, when they start this stubble burning, so the particulate matter start floating in the air and reaches Delhi. So specifically during the winter, so what happens is that, so this harvest takes place around this particular region, like the upcoming months. So during winter, that is the month of January, December, January, what happens is that these particulate matter suspended in the atmosphere will reduce the visibility in the National Capital Region, causing so many issues like accidents, and then the air quality drops at a very it becomes a very big concern. So all these things happens, and that is why we have this graded response action plan coming into picture. So this particular article is talking about how we are preventing it. Graded response action plan is a concept with respect to how we are going to respond after this air quality has become bad. But this is to stop the air quality index to become bad. So that is what is this concept about. This speaks about prevention. So stubble burning in India, why it happens is basically because of high mechanization. So they are combining harvesters, leaving short stubbles, and next is short window, 10 to 20 days between paddy harvesting and wheat sowing in Punjab. That's what I told you. Once the harvesting of rice is done, paddy is done, immediately they have to go for wheat. In South India, you take only rice cultivation takes place. But in northern Great Plains, in Punjab, Haryana, where the Green Revolution became, a very big concept, what happened there is they have multiple, like very closer cycles of sowing, once the paddy harvest is done, immediately they have to sow this wheat in Punjab and Haryana. So to dispose this stubble, the immediate solution they have is burning it. So it is uncostly because manual removal option is also very costly. So what they do is they do this stubble burning concept. So what are the environmental impacts? It contributes to PM 2.5 and PM 10 spikes, because in severe winter, smog is a major issue in terms of National Capital Region. It also releases greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, methane and nitrous oxide. So this is also a major issue, and loss of soil nutrients and microflora will take place because excessive heat leading to microflora dead in the soil, which will reduce the fertility of the soil. So these are the environmental impacts. So crop residue management strategy, what is that? So there is in-situ and ex-situ. In-situ is how we are going to do it on the field by itself. So happy seeders, so they are using machineries so that it takes care of the residues. Super SMS, rotavators and mulchers, zero till drill. So all these are the in situ management methods. Incorporation of residue into soil, so that soil enrichment takes place. But the issue with respect to this concept, this point number 2, is it takes time. That is a major issue in terms of Punjab. Next is ex-situ, biomass based power plants, using this waste crop residue in terms of power plants. We can use it in ethanol production. It can be used as a packaging material. We all know this, the residue from maize is used in producing plastics. That way the residue of paddy cultivation can be used as a packaging material. It is used as a fodder, briquetting, co-firing in thermal power plants. So co-firing is along with the fuel used in the thermal power plants, we are adding this in the thermal power plants. So that is called as co-firing. So what are the government initiatives? 3 initiatives. One is submission on agricultural mechanization. It is called as SMAM, subsidy for CRM machinery is given. So you remember we saw their negative reinforcement, that is this subsidy or any incentives will not be offered if any farmer is going for stubble burning. Next is national policy for management of crop residues 2014, promotion of biomass co-firing in NTPC and other plants, thermal power plants. So we will go to the question regarding this. So they are asking which of the above is correct. So the Commission for Air Quality Management has overriding powers over both the Central Pollution Control Board and State Pollution Control Boards in National Capital Region. Only in the National Capital Region they have the power. That is something you should keep it in mind. In general, when they are saying Commission for Air Quality Management has overriding powers over both Central and State Pollution Control Board, that is something you should think about. But specifically in NCR region, yes, they have overriding powers. Biomass co-firing, second statement, biomass co-firing in thermal power plant is promoted as a part of ex-situ crop residue management, and CAQM has set a minimum target of 5%. That is also right. So the answer is both 1 and 2 is the right answer, since both the statements are correct. So now we are going to discuss a very important international relations topic, and this topic explains about the India-EU strategic agenda. So recently the European Union has released a document, and in this document they have given an understanding about what is the agenda they have with respect to ties with India. So it is based on 5 pillars, very important 5 pillars: economy, emerging tech, security, global connectivity, and people to people ties. So we will discuss this in detail, and finally we will also discuss a mains question based on this. So India-European Union strategic agenda. So what are the key points is that recently European Union has released a 5-pillar agenda, and this 5-pillar agenda, what are the 5 pillars are very, very important: economy and trade, global connectivity, emerging technologies, security and defense, and people to people ties, very important. So first, in terms of economy and trade, what do they say? So India's largest trading partner is European Union, and goods and trade alone we trade for almost 120 billion euros according to 2024 data, and the services alone contribute to 60 billion euros, and the foreign direct investment, the stocks we get from, is 140 billion euros according to 2023 data. Indian investment in EU is almost 10 billion euros. Both sides are aiming to conclude the free trade agreement by the end of 2025. Along with that, negotiations on investment protection agreement, geographical indications, and air transport is also planned. So what is a major challenge? The tariff and non-tariff barriers in both the countries are major issues, and regulatory alignment and protecting Indian SMEs are the major challenge right now. When we are having a free trade agreement, this might affect the domestic producers in our country, but we can concentrate on increasing the exports. So that way what happens is that our domestic producers will get advantages. Next is about global connectivity. So EU's global gateway is almost 300 billion euros, and India's Mahasagar is seen as complementary, and flagship, that is India Middle East Europe Economic Corridor, is a flagship program, and integrating maritime, rail, digital and energy clean hydrogen. So this is very important. India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor, how we are trying to connect to Europe through Middle East countries. So that is about this India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor. And the project includes Blue Raman submarine cable, so 11,700 kilometers of cable, and green shipping corridors. And the strategic value, this is alternative to China's Belt Road Initiative. That is very, very important. So this Belt Road Initiative is a China's flagship program, and this is an alternative to that India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor. This way we are using, we are promoting India as a transport corridor, and this will also increase the supply chain resilience, because we have issue with countries specifically China and Pakistan, which are the major part of Belt Road Initiative. So this strategically might affect our supply chain resilience, but this program India Middle East economic corridor will actually help in having a support or resilience in terms of supply chain. Next is emerging technology. So EU's strengths, what are the EU strengths is they have proper regulations, R&D, green and digital tech. So for just a transition and for India's Panchamrita goals, so this adopting technologies from EU would be a very big support. And India, what is the advantage of India? We have skilled workforce, data sets and startup ecosystem. Just imagine these two coming hand in hand. Definitely the fourth industrial revolution would be very fruitful for both India and European Union. And the proposals with respect to emerging technologies include EU-India innovation hubs, startup partnership, cooperation on AI, multilingual data sets and AI for public goods. So AI is one of the most important fourth industrial revolution, and having support and mutual support, I would say it is a mutual support rather than we taking support from EU. Because EU gives us certain technology, the same way we give them the data set, we give them the skilled workforce. This way it's a mutual win-win situation. And Euratom, so it is an Indian agreement for peaceful nuclear energy, safety, waste and fusion. So this is very important, because India has a question on energy security, and this agreement, Euratom India agreement, will serve as a very big support in terms of this energy security process. And what is the risk? Technology dependence and regulatory over-alignment might be a major risk. So this might question sovereignty of our country. So we have to be very careful in how we are going to align with European Union in certain aspects. And with respect to security and defense, security dialogue on foreign and security policy, exploring security of information agreement. So since we are in the era of big data, so security, privacy concern is a major concept here. We should also consider that when we talk about security and defense. And maritime security, cyber security, counter-terrorism, non-proliferation, drug trafficking, these are all the areas they are concentrating on security and defense pillar. And European Union and India Defense Industry Forum and naval cooperation in Western Indian Ocean are the major proposals. This will strengthen India's defense industry and diversification of supply chain. We are dependent on few countries now, and this will increase our will increase the range of our supply chains, and also this will strengthen India's defense industry, both in terms of exports and imports. People to people ties, very important, because Indian diaspora in European Union is almost 825,000 according to 2023 data, and 1 million Schengen visas in 2024. The focus is on balanced migration, skills mobility, Erasmus exchanges, recognition of qualifications. And what is the opportunity for our country? This will strengthen higher education, research, soft power. So now in terms of AI era, we would have seen, so AI might replace people. So what is the alternative? Strengthening the skills among the people, that we become better in using AI. So we have more skilled personals. So that is what is about this people to people ties. So what is the strategic implication for India? We have better opportunities because we have trade diversification, There is an alternative connectivity to Belt Road Initiative. We are going to build our technological innovation ecosystem, counter-terrorism support and skill mobility. So, India being a largest supplier of human resource, and this will increase skilled human resources, increasing the demand for human resources, and where we can convert our demographic productivity, and we can convert it very fruitful. So, challenges: FTA sensitivities and EU strict digital and green standards. One of the major issues, carbon border adjustment. So, that is one of the important taxation. That's a very big friction right now between India and European Union. Defense export controls, financing projects, these are all the major challenges. So, what is waiting for us in future? So, we have to negotiate selective liberalization. Instead of completely aligning with EU's regulations, we can negotiate selective liberalization, and we can have safeguard policy space. We can deepen innovation partnership and leverage diaspora linkages. So, what is the mains practice question related to it? Critically examine the opportunities and challenges for India in EU's 5-pillar strategic agenda, and how should India balance economic gains with strategic autonomy. Simply speaking, how we are gaining economy and still we are stabilizing our sovereignty. So, whatever we discussed would be a perfect answer, talking about what are the 5 pillars and what are the advantages and what are the challenges, and finally how we are going to address it. Selective liberalization negotiation is one of the very good answer you can give to this question. Now we have come to the final segment of today's discussion, Prelims Focus. So, first topic is Nasha, Mukt, Bharat, Abhiyaan national competition. So, this is launched by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. So, what is the major aim is to identify and nurture young advocates for a drug-free India, culminating in a platform to interact with dignitaries. So, based on that, they can interact with dignitaries and specifically to promote young advocates. And this is a 3-tier process. So, an online quiz, essay writing, and elocution or group discussion. So, that is about this Nasha, Mukt, Bharat, Abhiyaan national competition. So, next is Make in India program. So, Prime Minister marks 11 year of Make in India initiative, and it is launched in 2014 by the Ministry of Commerce and Industries. So, what is this Make in India? It is to facilitate investment, foster innovation, build best in class infrastructure, and make India a hub for manufacturing, design and innovation. Basically, this Make in India is to promote secondary sector, because right now the contribution of GDP is mostly coming from tertiary sector, but if a country has to have a more stable economy, it should also promote the secondary sector. So, to promote the secondary sector and also to reduce the dependency on imports, the government has come up with this Make in India scheme. So, that has been 11 years right now since it has started in 2014, and that is what is this current affairs about. Next is about Vigilance awareness campaign. It is a comprehensive awareness and educational initiative. The title of this campaign is GM ki sune, Satark rahe and Zimmedar bane. So, it is launched by the government e-marketplace, that is the full form of GEM in this title, and it promotes the buyer compliance with rules and best practice. It supports sellers, specifically startups, MSCs and entrepreneurs from tier 2 and 3 cities with safe, transparent opportunities. So, MSME support and startup, this you can write it as a major point, Vigilance Awareness Week campaign and government e-marketplace. And what is government e-marketplace? It is a portal. Basically, it is a portal launched in 2016 by the Ministry of Commerce and Industries. This is to ensure transparency. Any e-marketplace is to ensure transparency and reduce the hold of middlemen. This is something you should always keep it in mind, be it e-NAM, government e-marketplace, wherever it is to increase transparency and reduce the influence or control of the middlemen in terms of these trade. So, it provides e-bidding, reverse e-auction and demand aggregation of best value purchases. So we'll discuss a prelims question based on this. Consider the following statement regarding government e-marketplace. So government e-marketplace is launched in 2016 by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry as a one-stop portal for procurement of goods and services by government bodies. And this provides features like e-bidding, reverse e-auction, demand aggregation to ensure transparency, efficiency in public procurement. So in this question, both the statements are correct and the question is also asking correct. So both 1 and 2 is the right answer. So the discussion is over, and do not forget to subscribe to this channel for regular updates, and that would be very much relevant to the UPSC examination. And like, comment if you have any doubts, and share this video to your friends. Thank you.